This is where the fun begins.
Announcement for my channel, OG Star Wars. Channel members have a chance to win a copy of Son of Kifu starting now in November through January just by coming on and supporting live streams. Your name will be entered to win a copy of this wonderful painting. So I encourage you, channel members, to come and support, as this is a way of giving back to you. If you are not a channel member, then what are you waiting for? Our last channel member, Miss Martin Muses, is the one who won Mistress of Rat Attack. Congratulations. And I shall chat with you guys later. See you in the live streams. Have a good day. Hello, hello, and good morning, and welcome to Thursday Morning Coffee Chat. I hope everyone is doing well. We do have people start trickling in, and my co-host is back with us today. Yay! I'm so happy. How are you doing, Stig?
I'm awake.
Yeah.
Last time I was sleeping, and holy shit, I was tired too.
Yeah, he needed that rest, I guess, and look at him. He's back and ready to go. So, yeah, and so we are going to continue on with My Brother, My Enemy, 4 and 5, and it's a very compelling story, and I really, really like this little arc here going on with Luke and, friends that, this is like, your friends, you have friends on both sides kind of deal of the war kind of idea, I guess you can say, and so I think that's pretty interesting here. So, Stig, do you have anything going on with you this coming week just to share just before we begin?
Quite a bit of streams. Going to be on with Miss Martin Muses tonight with her and Lady Gravemaster at 7:15 Central.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Wheel of Time.
Yes.
What the books are about, and all that, and probably rip into the show a bit. Tomorrow, me and Maura, Jade Shadow, are going to do our top 10 Christmas movie list. Once a month, we do a top 10 list. Last time we did top 10 superhero movies. That was the last one.
You must have been tired from last week because you had to think about that.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what we did last time because I know we did a horror one too, but that was probably in October.
Yeah.
So not sure what we'll do for the next top 10 though, but it's a monthly thing. So, and it's fun. It's actually fun because.
So go check it out. Go support. It's always good to listen to different content and listen to different opinions about movies and how people rank them and are any kind of entertainment and stuff. What was you gonna say, Steve?
Saturday on Miss Martin Muse's channel, we're continuing the Lord of the Rings talk.
Yeah. Okay. And then with Miss Martin Muses, and I know she's in the chat, at least I've seen her, and I will hop onto the chat section here pretty soon and say good morning to you all. She's one of my channel members and subscribers, and so please go subscribe to her channel. She's got some great content and some great discussions that are coming up in the future as well. So go support.
Max Relax has criticism for us.
What's that?
He says, I have criticism. Sorry for bitching. Make the comic reading more involving. Don't just state the facts. Present it with some schwung. How exactly is it up to you?
Okay.
Oh, he probably means how exactly is up to you.
Oh, okay.
Correct me if I was wrong though in the chat. But how would you like the comic reading to be more involving? I mean, we're just going through the story. That's what we've been doing for a year and a half. But do you have any suggestion?
Correct. If you have any suggestions, like I am not I don't have an actor's voice where I will like try to make the voice sound like the character and stuff, if that's what you're thinking. But we do stop and we do say, hey, this section here refers back to something that happened in the movies or something that happened in this other part of the timeline and stuff like that. So we try to involve that stuff, continuity.
Yeah.
So.
We're basically, we're not doing comic readings. We're going through comics on an academic level, almost loosely. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And this is the feedback. Go through the story of the page first and review the page so people grasp the story before going into details.
Okay. So what he's saying is that well, that's probably fair because we know the story, right? So we present it as if the viewer that we assume the viewer knows it too. So yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get going to the comic here pretty soon, but I do have a couple announcements myself. This tomorrow at 1 p.m. So tomorrow is Friday. I am interviewing Tommy, our guinea pig friend, on Talking EU. So I'm excited about that because you guys will be amazed at how much he knows about Star Wars, really. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. And then at the end of the month, every last Wednesday of the month, I'm doing a HoloNet journal. And this will be like news from the past Disney, or not past Disney. Geez. Okay, Laura. George Lucas era. So like whatever happened during that month. And I'm just selecting a few topics. It'll be like flash, review of the past, I guess you can say. And so this coming Wednesday on the 29th, I will be doing the introduction to this new show. And I will also talk about Lucasfilm's anniversary, because in this month of December is when Lucasfilm was made a company. So there we go. So it's perfect start of that.
Yeah. Also, Max Relax says, don't mean to be difficult. I'm thankful to have this show to watch. You know what? Constructive criticism is always fine.
Yeah, exactly. It helps.
I certainly did not take this the wrong way whatsoever.
Oh, no.
But keep in mind, though, that if 3 people says they think this way is good, and then you have 6 people saying this way is good, who do you listen to? So we have to meet it halfway, kind of, right?
Right.
So, and like I said, we're not doing, readings per se. It's more we're going through the basic story,
Yeah.
It's so this is not like a book club, in-depth book club thing. It's more like browsing and commenting.
Yeah.
Almost.
Stig, go ahead and address everybody in the chat real quick. My cat sounds like she's tearing something up under the Christmas tree.
Yeah. Okay then. Catastrophe going on. Lady Toriel, everyone's favorite elf, is in the chat saying, hello, everyone. Good morning. It's a 4-leaf clover. That's lucky. Max Relax says, yeah, it's also just one opinion. Yeah, it is. But, we listen to one opinion too. So perfectly fine. Soul Assassin is saying something. I don't know what that is. Are you drinking again, sir? Are you drinking on a Thursday?
I think he might be saying hello in Mandalorian.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't speak Mandalorian.
I think that's I kind of recognize it a little bit. So let us know if you're right. So no, she wasn't tearing up something under the tree. She was tearing up paper out that was near the tree. So there we go.
Also, we have Robert Acosta in the chat saying greetings, exalted ones. Why, thank you, exalted man. We have Rennie A saying good morning, lurking and working. And she's also rhyming. And we have Roger H saying hello.
Yes.
And there's a cup of coffee, I think.
Yeah. And so everybody, so what are you enjoying today for your beverage? I have, just normal coffee, standard coffee in my mug right now. What are you enjoying, Stig?
A cup of blackcurrant tea.
Ooh, that sounds good.
It
Is it
is.
sweetened? Is it sweetened? Do you have honey in it or anything?
I put some sugar cubes in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds really, really good.
What?
I said that sounds really, really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Other than that, it's I do have some Coca-Cola.
Oh, Coca-Cola. Your standard drink for it's like coffee for me usually, and Coke are most likely, and Coca-Cola for you most likely.
Yeah. I don't really drink coffee. It's not that I don't like coffee or anything like that. It's just I never got the habit.
Yeah.
I do drink tea, but I don't have a habit for that either. It's just
Yeah.
I just have tea bags lying around because they keep longer.
All right.
Yeah.
All right then. So yeah, saying hello in Mandalorian. I was right. I was like seeing that and I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like Mandalorian right there.
Yeah. It's been 20 years since I read anything Mandalorian, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Raj H is enjoying chai tea. And Rennie, hello, lovely. Panera iced coffee. I was running late this morning. Oh goodness.
Oh yeah, I know why you were running late. It's because you took time to make that fucked up coffee.
She didn't make that coffee. She picked it up. Okay. Soul Assassin morning. So he's saying morning to everybody, and not a fan of coffee, but do like the smell of it. Yeah,
Yes.
some people are like that. The smell is like it's like warm and inviting and rich, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
also, remember the smell of VHS tapes?
Oh God. Yeah.
They had a certain smell too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, VHS. Oh my God. That's a flashback of the past right there.
I had the original Star Wars movies on VHS.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And they're still top condition, right? You have a VHS.
Oh no, I don't have them anymore.
Oh.
I got the DVDs later on because it took a while for them to be released on DVD. They were on Laserdisc first. And you know when everyone started getting quicker internet and you could download movies illegally?
Yeah.
I had the Laserdisc versions of Star Wars on the computer.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Which I do believe are basically the VHS versions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
I don't know if
the
I like
DVDs
that.
happened with some changes.
Yeah. How does that think I should put us back into the normal slot because it's covering some of the comic? Look at that. All right. I was just checking.
Dreadful.
You're like dreadful. All right. So Stig, I know you are familiar with these stories here and the picture of the cover there. And I used on the cover or the thumbnail of the chip for the stream here. That's Tank. That is, I guess Luke was, there was 3 of them in their little group of friends, right? It's Biggs, Tank, and Luke, right?
Yeah. And in the novelization of episode 4, there's also a girl who was completely left out of the. I can't remember her name, but Luke kind of had the hots for her a bit.
Yeah. God, I remember.
She was. I think she was at Anchorhead or something.
Yeah. I think she was in the deleted scenes.
Yeah, Toshi Station maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so which was George having a group of his own friends kind of in the movie in a sense, right? Because it was Lucas George.
Yeah. And he's even said that, and I shared a video last night. It wasn't my video, but I shared it. It is basically a back and forth question after Revenge of the Sith with Hayden and George Lucas, and people were able, like they highlighted some certain questions for them to answer. And so someone asked him, who do you relate to in the movies? And he did state that it was first Luke for the longest time. And then as he got older, like now, like Revenge of the Sith and beyond, he's like, now I relate more to Yoda. So I thought that was interesting. And then he also talked about in that video clip about how he needed a wizened old character, and that's where Yoda came about, out of nowhere, basically. And that because he was such a quick plan for the story, that they didn't really give him a species or anything or revealed anything, and that he likes him as a mysterious species, and so that's why he kept it that way.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing, with the Lethal Weapon. When I was a kid, I always liked Mel Gibson's character the most because he was, the action heavy character and all that. He had the jokes and all. But as I get older, I like Murtaugh more and more. Way more.
Okay. So you can relate to what George was saying there then.
Too old for this shit.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. He's like, when I was young and spry, yes, I could relate to Luke, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm relating to the old Yoda, like, and then he even says, I feel like I'm 783 years old or something like that.
Yep.
I was like laughing. I was like, okay. But that was a nice, I did share it on Twitter. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you can find that link. Just scroll down a little bit. And it's just a nice little back and forth interview, very casual. Hayden and George answering questions, and it was pretty cool. So with that being said, let's get into the comic. So this is part 4 and we're doing part 5. So we're finishing up this little series here. And like I said, if you don't know, Tank was mentioned in the episode 4.
Yeah.
As one of Luke's friends. And so now we get their backstory and how conflicted this is. We always get the Rebel Alliance's view on their mission and why they want to restore the galaxy back into, pre-Empire and stuff like that. Now we're getting, the Empire, Imperial lieutenant, I guess you could say. I think he's a lieutenant, Tank is, his perspective. And stuff. And so I think it's very interesting.
I think Tank left before Biggs.
Yeah, that's what I got too. I think he left before Biggs because he knew Biggs was going, but he didn't. He went through the academy before Biggs did because he lost track of Biggs and he didn't know Biggs defected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here we go. So this kind of says a lot here. I'm not giving up any spoilers here, but this is like a very, very dramatic cover. I think it's a very successful cover. What's coming up? So here we go. What do you think about this art right here, Steve?
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how you have like he's in red, and with red, usually red is like the significance of like Sith or bad or whatever.
And death.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all those. So here we go. So we have in the scene here, we have, it looks like that was Soul. So that was the guy that was tortured here. And we have Wedge in the scene and they are debriefing him. They are, because they had just rescued him. He's in a lot of turmoil. He went through a lot in that torture.
PTSD, something.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so he says the Empire tortured me. They brainwashed me, tried to make me reveal the location of the fleet. They tried to make me a traitor. And then they ask him, but didn't succeed, Jordan. So I think that might be Wedge talking to him right there. And then he goes on, Dina's fine. No one was badly hurt. You beat the Emperor's programming. And so, they're debriefing him and all this other stuff. And then those who don't know who Dina is, her name is Dina Shan. And, I agree with Stig about, if we, that she could have been possibly related to the Shans,
Yeah,
we can only
I'm
speculate.
Pretty sure she was intended to be, but then, Disney bought Star Wars and everything got put on hold. Mm-hmm. For 2 years, wasn't it? Until they just said, the EU is going to get, we're going to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was almost like a break in production for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they just only allowed a certain amount of books to be published, and they decided which books were going to be, what they were going to coin legends and one's going to be in their continuity, right? And so like Tarkin got rewritten in certain parts of the book because they wanted to keep Tarkin for themselves and so on and so forth. So a little history there. So we wouldn't know, like Jaina Solo, we don't know exactly what her story is going to be now because her stuff was canceled. And, even with these little characters here, Dina Shan, we don't know where they're going to take her either because it's now, it's gone, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's probably gonna show up as a minor character in a Filoni show or something.
you never know. All right. And so they continue right here. He basically was saying they were in my head, Wedge, that they wanted me to kill for them. So basically did a lot of brainwashing, like he said, messing with his psyche, and torturing him, like put him through pain when he decides not to comply, versus not having him in pain when he does comply. So that's a type of conditioning, and it's a training thing too. So that's crazy, how you can use pain and torture, and all that stuff to, mentally break someone, So, and we see that a lot in different lores and stuff too, is, the torture and the mentally breaking people to do your bidding, right? So it's over, Joran. Wedge says, you're safe with us. A few days rest and you'll be back to work. You'll forget this. Now I find this odd, Stig, that they're debriefing him and he's telling them, like, they try to break me, brainwash me, they did this, that to me. And they're like, oh, you're fine. Just go get some rest and you'll be back to normal in no time.
Didn't he try to kill Dina?
Yeah.
Kind of. And then he stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of half killed her or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's definitely a liability. I mean,
exactly. And so he goes on to say, thank you, come back for me, or thank you, you came back for me, you Luke, Leia, I won't forget that, you saved me. And then
actually,
I think,
you know what? The fact that they're so forgiving of him,
yeah,
because the Empire basically tried to turn him into a brainwashed sleeper agent.
Yeah.
Right? That big time contradicts the X-Wing books, because I'm reading the first one. And they're doing all kinds of security on Tycho due to his, imperial past, I guess.
Yeah, but this happens way before then, so maybe this is the, like, realization that they need to.
I don't know.
Yeah, because this happens before. This is like we're still like 8 months. We're not even like a year after Yavin yet.
Yeah, but they even did it with Kal Katarn. They had Jan Ors had orders, hey, if he gets out of line, kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little bit wonky continuity.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a plot hole or anything. It's not that deep, but it's a bit,
It just shows how naive they probably were during this time, and not being too in tune with other stories that happened during, because I know this came out like in 2011, I think. I'm not sure, or 2010. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to take a look at the dates again. So a little bit of there, like, okay, so just keep it a little bit more consistent than, what we've seen, and that happens. I've never said the EU was perfect, like exactly perfect and everything lined up just right. It's well done and well kept, and that if they see any discrepancies, they try to fix, right away, so they keep the continuity intact, right? But so they didn't have to reboot. But a franchise is big, it's not going to be perfect, but it's really great. So yeah. And then so he goes on, it's going to be all right. Oh yeah, I read that. And then so that's Wedge talking again, and then this guy here, and I keep on forgetting his name, and I just think he's creepy. He's on so he's doubting. He is doubting what, what's going on here. And then so here we have Luke and Dina. They're going to save Tank. They're there already. So last time I left off, they Tank has left a message, and I don't know if you remember this, not Stig. Tank, I remember him going to meet with Vader about Luke, and then so this is a setup basically. And so they he leaves a message, they decode it. Luke wants to save Tank. Leia and them are like, no, it's risky, blah blah blah. Luke and Dina take off on their own and go get him. So that's what's going on in short. And so this is the action going on right here. And I really like it because I love the perspective here. You have great perspective, you know, you have the, you know, you could see where the bolts are coming from, you know, and everything lines up pretty well. I like how the art is done in here as well. So
Yeah, good
very
artwork in this series.
nice.
Sometimes the faces look a bit off, but overall it's pretty great.
Yeah. And then so is he basically, it's almost hard to tell between the two, but yeah, I could tell who's who. So Dina says, "Get in the shuttle now." And then he's like, "We're trying." So they're, you know, they've gotten Tank and they're trying to get out of there. And they're
But
meeting.
she's kind of stating the obvious, right?
Right.
If they're
And
shooting at us, get in the shuttle. Yeah. Why not the bathroom?
Right, not the refresher, right?
Yeah.
And then so we have it right here, and you know, I love her expression here. You know, she's really focused and determined, and you know, in the state of combat here, you know, and all that. But she goes, "I'm Dina Shaw." This is her little voice, her head, you know, what's going on in her head. "I'm Dina Shaw, and I'm Imperial officer. I'm firing at, or the Imperial officer I'm fighting at is Captain Rocher." So basically, she slept with Rocher. She had a thing for him, and it didn't pan out because they're on different sides of the war too. A man I may have feelings for. He blames me for leading his men into a trap that killed them all. And then, so here he is right here. He goes, "I'll have your head, Sean. I'll feed your battered, bleeding body to a malnourished Sarlacc." And then she goes on to say, what's that, Steve?
Oh, that's a statement.
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, "You damn beep." You know.
I am pretty sure that if this comic run had continued, they would have killed off Dina Shawn because she's not in any of the other EU stuff that comes later. So they would have had a character like Ahsoka that didn't really fit in with the rest of the stuff later.
Yeah, and yeah, of course. And then that's usually their thing, is like, if she doesn't have any purpose later on, you know, she's gone.
Absolutely
you know?
Nothing.
Yeah.
So,
you know, she's here for a season for a reason, but then after that, she doesn't belong.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. You know, I get it. You can't have every single character exist after the point, you know, I mean, especially if they have nothing to do with the timeline that they're moving towards, right? Like Filoni, that's where Filoni failed. He failed miserably on that. So, and then she's like, "Yep, I can pick them." And, you know, again, if you haven't had a chance to pick up this little series, it's a very fun series, and you can understand her mentality and what's going on with her. I think she's a really neat character.
Oh yeah, I always liked her, and she's flawed, and she gets more competent as she goes along. She's learning from mistakes and all, which is the most interesting characters do that. But seems to be difficult to do that these days.
Right. And then so Luke yells out, "Tank, stay down." You know, so Tank's right there. And then Rocher is like, "What are you waiting for, Lieutenant Sunbur?" And basically, if you didn't know, that's his last name, Tank's last name, Sunbur. His first name is Joran. And, you know, so, but because he was a part of a, you know, friendship and stuff, Luke knows him a lot more by his nickname. You have Skywalker, take him, you know, so basically we all know that that's who the Empire wants alive, is Skywalker.
Oh yeah, they knew about Skywalker. Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine that.
They had an interest in the guy who blew up the Death Star.
Right.
The poster boy for the Empire, for the rebellion. I mean, him and the leaders would have been the main targets because they want to break the spirit of the rebellion, right?
Right. You know, and they want to, you know, they want Luke for his abilities and stuff too, as well. So exactly. And so we have, you know, Tank right there, and they're, you know, and they're fighting, and, you know, and they're trying to make their way into the shuttle, and it looks like he gets shot in the hand right there.
Oh yeah, straight through.
Yep, straight through. And you know, so Luke basically is asking how bad it is, and he's like, "I'm okay," and so on and so forth. But you know, he's holding on to it, and I believe Luke can kind of sympathize with him about, getting struck in the hand one way or another.
Well, not
Wait, no,
yet.
not yet. Sorry, not yet. This is before. Okay, I take that back. So yeah, I'll take that back. Rewind. Like I said, this is like only like 8 months after Yavin. So, we're not even we're coming towards the first year of, the Battle of Yavin. Yeah. So here we go. So they're still making their way in. You could see on Tang's face that he is in pain, of course. And I think that's a really good description in the art on that.
Yeah. Oh, and side note, the blaster shots, they're not laser. They're plasma bolts. So,
right.
Which is why they have ammo. If it was laser, it would just be a battery, wouldn't it? And a continuing beam.
Right.
But it's bolts that they're firing. So he's basically getting a plasma bolt through his wrist. So you can imagine how that's going to hurt.
Right. And it burns right through. And yeah. And so so they do have the ammo packs and stuff. So people don't realize that. I need to do a video on blasters and stuff. I've always been wanting to do one. So so Tank basically says yes, just like being back home. So I wonder what goes on with him saying that, just like being back home. Who knows? Oh,
it's because they used to play war.
That's right.
It's from the first comic, isn't it? Ties back.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Lord, I forgot about that. But yeah, because that was like how he would say, when we first met Tank in these comics, like back home we used to play war, basically. Yeah. But now it's real life. Now it's real life, and they're on the opposite side of war. And I think maybe when they played war too, they probably were on the opposite sides, maybe, because you have to have opposing sides to play, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then so let's go on. So basically, Rocher says he's hit the controls for the blast door. Open the door. So basically the door is, they hit the controllers. Luke hit the controllers for the blast doors and is shutting down on them, that giving them cover so they can get out of there.
Which ties back to episode 4, because he does the same before Luke and Leia swings over that chasm in the Death Star. He shoots the control panel.
Exactly. There you go. And then so we go on here, and they're still in the midst of the battle. They're trying to get into the ship. They're climbing up, and Sean, basically, she's holding her own. Look at that, a strong female character. I love it. So there we go. And then she's like, I'll take some time to go through proper disengagement protocols. If we follow them, that's what Luke says to her. And then he's like, come on, she's over there. She's still firing back and stuff. And Luke has to pull her in. And she's like, huh? And then so, basically they climb up the ladder, get into the ship, and then they, take off. So it almost looks like the Falcon, but it's not. So it's another freighter kind of shuttle kind of deal. So there you go. And then we go on here, and Rocher is like with his troops, get that door open. It's coming, sir, slowly. And then he goes on, when I get my hands on that treacherous rebel harpy, and we know who that harpy is, and I'm going to deliver Skywalker to Lord Vader personally. I won't be made a fool of. So, his ego is bruised right now by the war.
Yeah. And you can sympathize with the Imperial officers a little bit, because if they fail, it's not like you fail upwards in the Empire like you do at Disney. If you fail once or twice, you're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Vader didn't have a tolerance, and and more so we like Palpatine, but we know what happens if you don't deliver for Vader, really, or if you fail in front of Vader. And that's even in like Heir to the Empire and all that stuff about like how Vader's fleet, that's the place you want to get on for promotions and be on the best team, right? However, you still have that that stigma. If you fail, you could be dead. And so I'm pretty sure that's why his fleet and everything ran so top, because you didn't want to make mistakes. So there we go. And then so now all of a sudden they get it open, and as the door opens, They are now in vacuum and getting sucked out. Look at that.
Yeah.
And he's like, close the blast doors, close the blast doors.
That stormtrooper in the last picture,
Yeah.
the helmet's not well drawn, is it?
No, it's too squished.
It's too small.
Yeah. Yeah. His biceps are really big considering. Look at that. Like, you know, we have like the
Yep.
like all that and stuff, but the
But
helmet,
why is there biceps on the armor?
I don't know. I don't know. And it's probably just to exaggerate, like he's really
No,
holding up.
it's the shoulder pad thing.
Is it the shoulder pad? Okay.
Yeah, you see it on the top picture.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And so they're getting sucked out into space there. Now with the stormtroopers, how do you know how long they can stay out in space without problems in their armor?
Not long at all, because the stormtrooper armor is a so-called powered armor. You can see they have like a box on the back, a little one. And it has a survival thing in it that adjusts the temperature. You know, for the which is why they're not boiling when they're on Tatooine.
Yeah,
because the armor is cooling them.
Yeah,
like that. So it has a lot of practical stuff, but I don't think it's not airtight because you can just lift the helmet off.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're dead.
Yeah.
Fun thing in Jedi Knight 2, which is a Call Katarn game. You're infiltrating a Star Destroyer with Luke Skywalker. And there's like a whole platoon of stormtroopers lined up in the hangar. And you can turn off the shield. So the whole damn gang gets sucked into space. Which is really rewarding.
I bet.
Yeah, I think it makes a comments about it too.
Oh, nice. It's always fun to have all those little nuances in there, huh?
Yeah.
And all that. So basically they get sucked out into space, and then Luke and Dina with the tank make it into hyperspace to make their way back. And then we have the image of Leia and some of her some of them looking pissed off. You know, they're landing on Home One now. I'm pretty sure that's Home One.
Yeah. Also, Jock Nerdy remembers that spacing scene from Jedi Knight 2. It's that's actually the mission you get to team up with Luke Skywalker. Oh,
okay. All right. How fun. That sounds like fun.
You need to play them. They're awesome.
I know I do. I know. And then so we have them landing here, and they come out and they have their hands up, and and they know they're in trouble because they went against orders. And you can tell by Leia's face. She looks pissed right there. So there we go. We have a pissed off Leia. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't smack a bitch either, like she does in the Disney trilogy. So there we go. So, and then Luke says, Leia, and then she basically says, you will be taken to the brig where you will be held until Tunga Lee, that must be his name, Tunga Lee, is happy that you pose no threat to the rebellion. And then she goes on. Go ahead.
And there we have a little consistency issue, because they don't do that with the guy who was brainwashed.
Right. To Soul.
But but they put Luke in the brig.
Right.
So a little bit of consistency issues going on.
Right. It's like they debriefed Soul, but they didn't act like he was tortured, really, other than, you're going to be okay. Just get some rest. And here Luke just made a mission because he believed in his friend. He believes in his friend. And we're seeing how naive Lucas still is, because we're like, not even like, he's only been in the rebellion for like 8 months now. So he's still a bit naive, right? And so we're seeing him naive, and his heart is on his sleeve when it comes to people in his life. When it comes to people, and and this goes to him as being the person of hope and the person of redemption and all that he always wants to see good in people and find a way to help people. That's always been his character. And even though he's very naive about things right here, that still is part of who he is, not the naivete, but the hope and redemption and, believing in others no matter what. And this is just shows a little bit of that when it comes to his friend Tank. So, and then so they're like, go to the Briggs, we don't trust you kind of deal. So, but then the one that got tortured and brainwashed and has PTSD and all that, oh, you'll just sleep on it, so, there you go. So, and she's more mad than anything because he went against her orders. But we know that the rebellions, if there's something going on and they believe that it's worth doing that, we always seen people in the Rebel Alliance do stuff like that. Even Leia has before. So there you go. So let's go on. So you're Tank, she says. And then he's like, yes. You'll go to the med bay first and have your injuries seen to. 2 armed guards will be with you at all times. And he's like, thank you. And then Luke goes, Leia, please. And then she tells him, I just hope he was telling you the truth, Luke, for all our sakes. And so you can see Tank's face right here. He's all bruised up and everything from his torture and everything. And so he's in thought right here. I am Lieutenant Janek Sunbur of the Imperial Army, and I can't believe I'm here. So there you go. There you go. So now we're going through him going through the med here, the med bay and all this other stuff. And then we have that guy looking through, and he, of course, his eyes looks very suspicious here. Like he's like, evaluating and all this stuff here. And so that basically Tungo Lee. Tungo Lee's report on the Imperial prisoner, Lieutenant Sunbur, for the attention of Princess Leia Organa. His wounds are real, Your Highness, and there is little doubt that he was tortured and shot by Imperials. The question is, would he have accepted the torture in order to convince Skywalker and us of his authenticity? If so, that would make him a very dangerous individual. So there you go. And we're going to find out about a lot of things here pretty soon. Still, Imperials have come over to the rebellion in the past, and I have interrogated him extensively myself. His story remains consistent. And then he goes on to say, Skywalker and Sean have been held, debriefed, and severely rebuked. I agree that expelling the hero of the Battle of Yavin would damage morale. And I think this is Tungo Lee that's thinking this here. I have, for the time being, allowed the prisoner free access around less sensitive levels of the ship. Rest assured that at least one of my men follows him wherever he goes. Report ends. So there you go. So they are basically, and what do you think about that, Stieg, about saying, well, we could expel Luke, but then that would be dangerous to our mission because he's the hero of the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah, plus he has a lightsaber and can use the Force, so it's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have anything else to add to that one?
No, I just found something for you, actually. I'm going to put it in the group chat. It's for later. It's
okay.
It's like a rare thing.
And then Robert D. Costa says, OG Gaming Stream when? First Star Wars VTuber confirmed. And let's see here. I know nothing about any debrief, or I know nothing about any debriefing. Get your shit together, rebels. Yeah, so there's a little bit like Stig said, like some kind of inconsistency issues here with some of the
Yeah, and
how they're handling each character.
Miss Martin in the chat says Luke was never that built. She's right.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't as buff as we see in this.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. No.
Not yet. I mean, like maybe when he gets further along towards like New Jedi Order, because he did believe in physical training and stuff as well, but not that early in the game because we're only 8 months after Yavin. He's not that built at all. He's still going through a lot of training and stuff himself. So there you go. And mind you, yeah, working on Tatooine as a moisture farmer, yeah, you're going to be muscular, but not built like that. So there
Yeah,
you go.
because he's not buff in episode 4.
No, he's not. No, he is not. All right, so let's go on here, and then it's good to see you out of that Imperial uniform. So Luke and Tank are now, meeting up again, and he's like, "Don't take that wrong now." And then Tank says, "They didn't throw you out of the rebellion then." And then Luke says, and this is like his little bit of, he's being cocky here. "What can I say? They can't manage without me." So there you go. And then Luke goes on to say, "It's good to have an old friend around. Sometimes being here, I can't believe how far I've come, flying starships, mixing with a princess." And then Tank goes on to say, "Blowing up the Death Star." And then Luke says, "It's crazy, isn't it? It doesn't seem so long ago. It was you, me, and Biggs. Nowhere to go, nothing to do." And then Tank says, "You don't think you deserved to be here?" And he's like, "Sometimes." So you have, you see the little bit of doubt that Luke has in him and stuff like that. Like, it's still surreal to him, I guess. And then Tank goes on to say, forget where we're from, Luke. That's nothing but circumstances and geography. We're adults now. We are who we choose to be. That's all that matters." And Luke says, "Yeah, thanks, Tank." So what do you think about that, Stig?
No, they're just catching up, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remembering, and also saying now we're adults, so their circumstances in the past don't make us who we are today. Basically, we have I wouldn't say outgrown, or maybe outgrown is it the thing, like that was our past, and now we're moving forward as an adults.
Yeah, it's basically the paths diverged, and now they came together a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then so now we got Tank here in his thought again. Tank, we are who we choose to be, I said, and I'm Lieutenant Janek Sunbur. And you, Luke, are an enemy of the Empire, a man who has caused so much strife and hurt to our galaxy. You laugh as if you recall the Death Star trench, a story you've probably told now 100 times. But Luke, now many Imperial soldiers died when that space station exploded. Were some of them good men? Have you ever considered that? No, I don't think you have. So, he's questioning Luke on, like the decisions of blowing up the Death Star and all this other stuff. So he has some good points here. What do you think about that, Steve?
Yeah, he absolutely does.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole point of this comic, well, not the whole point, but it's showing both sides, two
Mm-hmm.
friends on different sides of a war. So both of them will have good arguments.
Exactly. And then so they go on here and says, and then so he's like, how did you get a lightsaber? And then Luke says, it's a long story. And then Tank goes on to say, I've never seen one before. Could I hold it? And then he's all, graceful little thing, isn't it? How do you turn it on? And he's like, careful. And look how he's handling to him, like the it's like if he went and pressed the wrong button, that could go right through Luke right there if he turned it on as he was handing it to him.
Oh, and also look, they're using the right button, unlike what they do in Disney Star Wars.
Right. I was going to say that they use the right button, it's consistency with like the tool you're using. Right. So there you go. So he turns it on and he stares at it and, he's admiring it, and all this other stuff. And, it makes me wonder like how much he knows about the Jedi, and I don't think it's never eluded how much he knows about them. And then he goes on, amazing. It's amazing what we've both become. And then he goes to bed later, my friend, he's my friend. And so he's dreaming this right here. And so there's Luke here. He's in a lot of fight, he's like in a lot of battles with the Empire here, and all this other stuff. So he has a dream about Luke, and Luke's just destroying stormtroopers and all of them left and right and stuff. And it almost looked like Luke's eyes are like yellow here, but I'm not sure. It's
probably just
yeah. So there's a lot of going on here. I like how this looks because you have his dream builds up, and it shows Luke on the mountain of stormtroopers, and basically goes back to what he was thinking about, like, did you know these were good men, and you killed them all by blowing up the Death Star, blah 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 blah, you're bringing strife to the galaxy, and that's what he believes, and stuff. And so this is his dream about Luke. And then so he's awakened, a dream, it was just a. And then so now he's going through another spell of it, I guess. You disappoint me, Lieutenant. Your frailties, your pathetic compassion and doubt, they have no place here. And so look who that is. That's Darth Vader. You are not important. You are merely a pawn, an incidental character in a much larger story. And he's like, and then he goes on to get force choked here in his dream, I guess. And he says, you are my agent in these proceedings, and you will obey your instructions. You are to bring Skywalker to me alive. You are an officer for the Galactic Empire. You will follow your orders. You will do as you are told. And so he has him by the neck there as well in his hand. And he says, there can be no rebellion. Do you understand? So there you
go. Frankie Fraser in the chat says, yeah, the artist is reusing the same panel 3 times with a different face. He's right. Look at the top and bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just minor changes.
Well, yeah, he's not going to be, you would think that he'd be tossing and turning as he's dreaming that, right?
Yeah, but still, it's the same.
Yeah, but it's consistent because he's in bed, he's sleeping, he's dreaming. So either he would be tossing and turning, or he would be stuck frozen and dreaming this and stuff like that. So yeah. So but here we go. We have this part is his dream, and down here he's like partial sleep, dream state, or whatever you want to call it. And he goes, I do. So there you go. And then we go on here, and he does. And so this basically just tells a lot without any descriptions or whatever. He gets a rebel and steals his clothes to, I guess, penetrate deeper into the base.
Into the rebel?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
Penetrates deeper into the rebel. Oh my God.
Yeah, he took his clothes off to penetrate deeper into him.
I set that up, didn't I? And then he steals the clothes, and he wears them to disguise, because he is, or they have someone that's following him all the time, right? So he wants to, basically, and I'll say this, penetrate deeper into the, into the ship, basically, where he's not allowed to go. And then so we have Luke at the bottom. Please, I said I was sorry. So I guess he is talking with Leia here. And
Leia's scolding him.
Mm-hmm.
She's a woman explaining. And all of a sudden, the other guy who was brainwashed is just there laughing, and they're fine with him.
Yeah.
So consistency.
Mm-hmm. Right. You would think that because of what he went through, that he would still be, in the med bay and going through, a lot of testing and other stuff, and watching evaluations and stuff like that.
Yeah. Don't trust him 5 minutes later.
Yeah. Right. And then but one thing I'll say here is Leia is not slapping Luke. So
no.
I think that they really turned her into this bitch in the Disney lore.
Oh yeah, that was and every time Poe was trying to make a case for himself for his arguments, he was always surrounded by only women in the frame. And Rian Johnson said they did that because he wanted to put mansplaining in Star Wars. That's what it is. So he's surrounded by women basically explaining shit to him.
Yeah. Wow. And then she's like, I'm busy right now, Luke. And he goes, can we talk just for a minute? And then she goes on to say, let's inventory the food supplies in section 2 next. And he's like, Leia. And then she goes on to say they were down slightly the last time we checked. And then he goes on to say, fine, ignore me forever. See if I care. And then so we have Soul, the one that was tortured, in the background. And he goes, still giving you the cold shoulder. And then so Luke goes on to say, there are a few things for frostier than an Angry princess, trust me. And then Soul says, I feel much better and I've just been cleared to return to duty. Wow. There we go. And then Luke says, anyway, you're looking much better. And so Luke goes on to say on the bottom panel, that's great, Joran. I'm really pleased for you. And then Joran Soul says, none of this would have been possible without you and the others. You can back for me, or you came back for me. I'll never forget. So there we go. And then, so we have, that's Tank right there in his disguise, I guess you can say. And Luke says, you're welcome. And then down here we have Akbar, Leia, and I forget who this one is here, but they're going through a lot of like supplies and stuff like that and whatever. And she's very busy. We know that. That's why she's blowing Luke off as well. And then so he says, reporting for duty, Your Highness. And she turns around and says, well, Joran, so welcome back. And he's all, thank you. And then she has her arms out for him. And we're also very pleased to have you here among us where you belong. And he's got this shit-eating grin going on with him. Luke's back there sulking, and he gets out his blaster.
See? Told you they shouldn't trust that bastard.
I was waiting for you to say something.
Yeah.
You're like, see?
Dumbasses. He literally said, hi, glad to be back. I'm brainwashed.
Yeah.
He told them he was brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
at least you're not Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, where we basically, locked him up for all this other stuff for what he did compared to you that's brainwashed.
I just hope he shoots her in the face.
Well, we'll find out right now. There we go. So so she gets shot, looks like in the chest area or the shoulder area.
He hits her right tit.
She's got boob shot.
Yep.
Got a boob shot going on. And Luke says, no, because she got shot in the boob. No.
Yep.
And then here we go here. And so he gets out his lightsaber and, slices the blaster in half right there. And then he grabs Soul right there. He says, I don't want to do it. Please believe me. I didn't. They made me. So that's
then
Soul.
Why the hell did he grin? Luke should have just, see the guy, the angle with the lightsaber on his face, just shove the lightsaber in his mouth.
Oh, you're like, you would have done that, huh? I'm like, let's stop talking your shit. And then he's all, it's all a part of their plan. And he's like, what plan? It's them, Luke, the Empire. And then they're like, no, so basically, yeah. So this basically
he was radicalized by Ryan Kinnell.
Goodness gracious. Let's see here what's going on in the chat here. Whoops, I shouldn't have done that. Let me put that back up. There we go. Wrong button, Alora, wrong button. And let's see here.
Yep.
Says
construction of the second Death. No, that's not the second Death Star, is it?
No. We will get to that right now here.
Yeah. This is yeah.
Yeah. And then we have, go ahead.
It's the Navy.
Yeah. And then he's all, that brainwashed bastard. And Miss Martin Muse is like, no, I told you guys this is good. There's like some things like, why are they trusting him? They should have had him in the Briggs and stuff longer. And because he was brainwashed compared to Luke, who just went on common sense and hope and trust, and stuff like that, which is, it's still, it could still be questionable and stuff like that. But he was in his right senses for that compared to Soul, who they just allowed to run around like nothing happened. So yeah. And then Frank Frazier, he was radicalized. Yep. And that's, I know you said that earlier. And Soul assassin, Soul mean Manchurian candidate. Yeah. So, and I see I have some people had popped on. If I haven't had a chance to say hello to you guys. And I hope you guys are enjoying a beverage while we go through this comic here. And I love this image here. I think I've shared this on Twitter before. And so we have Vader. and we'll find out where they're at right now. So let me get back to the comic here. And so we have Vader here, and guess what? They are seeing the rebel fleet, I believe. So dun dun dun. So it continues, and they say they're here, so that confirms it. They're here, meaning Vader and his fleet's there, and they're getting ready to attack. Look at that. And that's all because of Soul. That's all because of Tank.
No, it's because of Leia for trusting that damn guy. Leia's to blame.
Leia's to blame, huh? She's like, and then that one weird alien guy, he's like, I don't trust him, and they're like, oh no, it's okay. So they don't even believe, they don't even listen to their experts, really. So here we go. And so Luke and that Soul right there are joined. Jump to hyperspace now, Luke yells. Signal the entire fleet to jump to the next pre-assigned position. And then Saul says, you can't do that. And he's holding his head because, of course, he was brainwashed. So he's fighting against his programming. He's crying there. He's fighting against his programming to kill, destroy, and reveal, basically. And then so he goes on, he says, I disabled our navigational computers. I told the Empire everything where we'd be. And
Which means nobody even watched him.
Right. No one watched him. They believed that he was okay. He just needed to sleep on it, right? He just needed to sleep on it. He's fine. And where we're going. So there we go. And then he goes on to say, if we jump, we'll find even more Imperial ships waiting for us. And then Luke says, I've got to get Leia to the med bay. And then now look what happens. Now we have Tank behind him. And he says, that's not going to happen. You're both coming with me. And he's like, Tank? So this really makes the Rebel Alliance look like idiots. I swear to God.
Yeah, they fucked up, all of them.
They fucked up big time.
Yeah.
And then so we are
no other way to put it.
Yep.
I like the EU and all that, but they fucked up.
Mm-hmm. But then this also shows that they weren't perfect either, if you want to put it that way.
No, characters will fuck up, but
yeah.
Yeah.
And then a question of Trek. Luke was just a farmer who was radicalized by a religious zealot.
Yeah, it was.
And then Frankie Frazier says, the Mandalorian candidate.
Yep.
And then, yes, you guys please hit the like button. And Soul Assassin says, my hands are clean in this assassination attempt on Leia. He's like, I didn't do shit. I'm clean behind this. And then he goes, so he's sharing, thank you so much for modding for us as well. So yes, so I still like this. There are discrepancies and stuff, but it also shows how they could be disorganized and that they're trusting anybody, and their big mistakes cost them a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's more a case of they're trusting the one they absolutely should not trust. So it's kind of like,
yeah, exactly.
The main characters are kind of dumb in this case.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. This artwork right here, the explosions and stuff, really, really good right here. Really, really good.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Mm-hmm. So we have Tank and Luke right here, and so let's get on. This is part 5 of My Enemy, or My Brother, My Enemy.
Yeah, this is the final part, right?
Yeah, this is the final part. So we get to the conclusion. We're going towards the conclusion now here. So we have Tank. He's holding the gun up against Luke, or like behind Luke, basically. And he's all, get on your feet. And then Luke is right there crouching down next to Leia. He's concerned about her. You have explosions going on. All of this because now Vader and his fleet, have found him because of their stupidity, right? Yep. And then so Luke says, she's still breathing. I have to get her to the med bay right now. Tank, if you ever were my friend, please, I'm begging you to. And then Tank goes on to say, get to your feet or I will shoot you right now. And he's like, blast it, Tank, she'll die. And then he's all, my name is Lieutenant Jennick Sunbar. And Sunbar. Yeah, there we go. And I've been saying Sunbar. Summer. So, and this isn't about her, Luke. It's about you and me. So there you go. And then so we have this another one. I've shared this and I even have it as my little like little bar picture on my Twitter. And you could see a lot of stuff going on, the battle, the X-Wings, you know, the fleet, you know, the planets they're next to, all of that. Just nice little action-packed, chaotic fighting.
It's called a splash page, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
so.
Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, those of you who are comic savvy.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm starting to pick up terms, but I'm probably using them wrong.
Yeah, I'm still learning. So this is be a learning point for me about what this image is called and stuff like that. But I really, really like this. So it's really, really neat. And then so basically just you and me, Tank says. And then so we go on here, we see a lot about, you know, fighting still going on. You know, the Rebel Alliance is taking a lot of hits here because they, you know, basically they, you know, it was a ambush, I guess you can say, that they were surprised because of their ignorance, you know. And, you know, we have Wedge and them responding and all that. And so basically he says, we're getting slaughtered out here. The entire fleet has to jump to hyperspace to the next rendezvous point now. You know, so they have no idea. These guys have no idea what's really going on and what Sol did to them, you know. So when they jump, they might be, you know, facing, you know, other Imperial fleets and stuff waiting for them. And so basically he says, are you listening, Rebel One? Or yeah, Rebel One, order the jump. And then basically he says, you can't do that. If the fleet jumps to the next prearranged spot, the Empire will be waiting. And then
Frankie Fraser in the chat said, this is how you do wars in the stars.
Yeah.
It ain't that hard, Kathleen. You're right.
Yep. I mean, even the movies did it, like George's movies did it really well.
Yeah, the space battle in Return of the Jedi is great.
Mm-hmm. Right. I wish we could have got a little bit more on that, but still, it was still really, really great, you know, with what we got. So, yeah. And then, so the escape algorithms finished. The only hope is to scatter, tell each ship to run for it. So now they have to basically, I wouldn't say blindly jump, but that's what I'm getting, because they can't be.
They can punch in coordinates.
Yeah.
Even though it's. Not all of them punch in the same one, right?
Mm-hmm. So basically, they have to scatter their fleet and stuff because they're basically normal algorithm. Go ahead.
Jump anywhere, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That is safe.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like ignore all the pre-coordinates that were set for emergencies. Now you have to really be creative.
Yeah, just pick a system and go there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right, so now we have them going on here because I'm telling. All right, he says, and why should I believe a word that comes out of the mouth of an Imperial spy? And Luke says, because I'm telling the truth. And then basically that crazy alien guy, to keep on forgetting his name because I don't like him, I guess. I don't know. You told the truth before. How many rebels would die today because of that? And then, so that was Sol that was saying, because I was telling the truth. And then, so I'll take that back. And then Sol goes on to say, go ahead.
And Lady Toriel is leaving. She's going to bed.
Good night, Lady Toriel.
Hope you sleep well.
Yeah, I know she works graveyard shifts and stuff like that. So yeah, I get it. So have sweet dreams, darling. And then Sol says, tell the fleet run. It's your only hope. And then, so he's holding up the gun to him. And then basically is yelling or saying, Helmsman, transmit the order, tell the fleet to scatter. So yeah, they have to scatter. So there we go. And then he basically looks like he punches him. He pushes him. Look out. And then so we have the explosion going on. They were hit right there. And then so Vader is watching the battle from the viewport here in his ship here, and he says, or his officer says, their ships have started jumping to hyperspace, my lord. If they are heading to their rendezvous points, we're ready for them. It appears this could This could well be the end of the rebellion. And then he's all, Lord Vader, huh? And then he says, this is a joyous occasion. Surely your spies have done well, haven't they? And, he's not really responding. He's just watching the battle. So there we go. And then we get to this image here. Luke has Leia up on his shoulders here. He's more concerned about her than anything else, even though he has the gun up, pointed at him. And then so basically says, this remains to be seen, Admiral. So that's what Vader says to his Admiral. And then Luke goes on to say, she's barely breathing. And Tank says, our escape pod will be picked up. It's all arranged. Once we're on the Star Destroyer, I'll get her to medical droids, I promise. And Luke says, and what happens then? Even if she survives, she'll be tried and executed. Your promises don't mean a thing now. And so Tank is like really, really pissed right here. And he says, I'm doing my duty. Your rebellion's tearing the galaxy apart, and you are nothing but a criminal. So that must be crazy, having like two friends on each side of the war, and they're both sticking to their guns on what their beliefs are and stuff. Their belief systems are according to their, which side they're on. Very, very conflicting, and I bet you it's probably painful too, to have your lifelong friend, being on opposite sides. And then Luke goes on to say, just like Biggs, like Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, they must have been dangerous criminals for your stormtroopers to come to the farm and slaughter them. And he's like, stop it. So he's not believing what's being said. He wants to believe that their mission in the Empire is good, right? And then so we go on here. He looks like he socks Luke or whatever. That's what I'm getting. Or Luke got hit in the head by a shrapnel. I'm not sure.
No, he smacks him with the pistol.
Oh, did he? Okay, so I wasn't sure because he has a fist on one side and then there's shrapnel and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, no, he just backhands him in the head with a.
Yeah, and there's Leia's butt. So there we go. All right. So and then he goes, "What are you doing? I'll shoot." And then Luke's looking at him, and Luke says, "No, you won't. You won't. You have to get us to that escape pod. Come on, Tank. It's just like being back home, remember?" And then Tank goes, "I'm warning you, Luke." And he's like, "Come and play." And so he socks him in the mouth. Come and play. Wow. So these are friends just really hammering out now. Look at that. Look at that. And then now we're back in and the space battle here. And that's it. Get out of here. Most of the fleet have gone. Why hasn't the main frigate jump? We need... And then, so he's like, so, you see a lot of stuff going on here. Again, I like how this looks. And then they go, Wedge, you okay? He goes, yeah. And he goes, lucky. So he gets hit a little bit there. And, they have a lot going on here. They have a lot. Let's see here. And then we go back into the ship here, into the frigate. Hello, Rebel One. Do you read? Over? And then, yes, I hear you. I can. And then they go, Rebel One, you are taking major damages. You have to jump to hyperspace now. Do you receive? Over? Can anyone jump there, make the jump? And then, so here we go. We have Soul looking at the people who tortured him. He's, like we said, he's been brainwashed, right? And then they say to him in his mind, you can do nothing, Jorn. You are useless and weak. And then, do you understand, Jorn? And he goes, yes. And she says, good. Now lie there and listen to the screams of the people you delivered to us. So there we go. So he's like he's playing these mental issues or mental stuff in his head.
Remember when Disney said that, Phasma would be the first female Imperial. That's look there.
Yeah, right.
And Admiral Dalla. I forgot about her too.
Yeah, Radala, and also what was her name? Isani Isard.
Yeah.
Who
is Isard's dad is mentioned in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, which George Lucas heavily oversaw.
Right. There you go.
sorry, yeah, it was, or am I confusing it with Jedi? Sorry, Labyrinth of Evil. It was definitely in that one. Maybe I'm
Mhm.
mixing them up, but that one was directly referenced in the movie several times, so
Mhm. Yeah, and
it's the
Labyrinth
same
of
thing.
yeah, and Labyrinth of Evil too, wasn't heavily seen over by George, but George did have a lot of influence on that one as well.
Yeah,
There you go.
and it was on the hardcover. It
Mhm.
says it's the prologue to Revenge of the Sith, and it was
Right.
released like a month or two before
Mhm.
to basically get whoever read it up to date on the events before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, and my thoughts on this is that while the movie was being developed, and even the novel, and Labyrinth of Evil 2 was being developed, there was a lot of communication during that time, for those pieces of the lore that was being developed at the same time. That's why
Yeah,
they were relatively close
Lucas
together.
was heavily involved with the books that tied into the prequel trilogy,
Mm-hmm.
um, like Darth Plagueis and
Right.
Approaching Storm, which is also which is the prequel to Episode 2,
Yeah.
which is also referenced in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I love about that, is because everything was being developed with a great synergy of considering what's coming up and linking everything together during that time. And I think that was a very wonderful time to see EU come out, because of
Yeah,
the fact that they were all working together to make a coherent story between the movies and the books.
yeah. I would say that during the prequels
Mm-hmm.
and for the next 6 or 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
that's the heyday of the EU because the continuity was pretty perfect at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, for
You
that
know,
time frame and
the
stuff.
some of the old Bantam books
Mm-hmm.
naturally don't fit that well because they were written before there was even an EU. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and they were written before the prequel trilogy had been
Mm-hmm.
made too. So if there's continuity issues, it's due to the prequels
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
the writers back then were not psychic. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. But what I'll state there is, like, any issues, they are very, very, very minor still. And were easily handled and stuff like that. And I think George and company learned after, like before the prequels, and as we come into the prequels, how easy it was to have everything blend and work together and work on things together during the time. And I think they learned from past experiences of building the EU when it was
yeah,
first came out and stuff like that. So we're, like Stig said, we're seeing the heyday of everything coming together, and them practicing trying to keep continuity and keeping everything together. And so I think, yeah, that's like a golden period, I guess you can say. A golden
yeah.
period.
Also, George Fraser says heavily involved equals he read it and thought it was okay. Usually that was the case actually,
Mhm.
but for when it comes to a few novels, he actually was heavily involved.
Yeah.
The writers have said so,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
which is why he also it's probably because he used stuff from it in the movies, so he just
Mhm.
the novels fleshed out stuff he didn't have room for, like
Yeah.
because I saw Terry Brooks, who wrote Episode 1, the novel.
Hmm.
He had to flesh out the rule of two
Right.
and all that stuff, and George told him to do that because he couldn't put it in the movie because the movie would be 5 hours long.
Yeah.
So that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you take a book like Courtship of Princess Leia or Truce at Bakura, then no, George was not heavily involved with either of those at all.
Yeah.
He gave them a stamp of approval at most.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it.
As long as it didn't contradict the main part of the overall canon, and that would be George's, like, the movies, and it didn't interfere with any future stuff that he planned, I guess you can say, then
Yeah,
he's okay with it, especially when it comes to the characters that he made through the movies. He had say on their development and which way they need to go, because later on, if he decided to use them or had a story idea, if it contradicted, for example, if Luke was killed, early on, and he couldn't use them later. So there you go. And that to me shares that the EU was canon, because if it wasn't, then it wouldn't matter if Luke was dead and how many times he died.
Oh yeah. Also, if it wasn't canon, then why did it have to stick to the movies in the first place?
Exactly. It could have
So
been.
that door swings both ways, really.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. And then Frank says, didn't Terry Brooks write a lot of fantasy stuff? Wheel of Time. I might be wrong.
well, he corrects himself further
Oh, there we
down,
go.
and yes, it's the Shannara stories,
Yeah.
which are great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of those.
Yeah.
It's a shame they really fucked up that TV show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Terry Brooks is the Shannara books are a little bit like Star Wars, because it has a lot to do with bloodlines, and
Mm-hmm.
There's time skips and all.
Yeah.
And it's bloodlines and family and what have you. So similar.
Okay, awesome. And so now we are continuing on. We have Tank and Luke fighting here, because there's a lot going on. They're on opposite sides of the war. They're not agreeing with each other. There's a lot of pain going on there, not only from the fighting, but mental pain because they grew up together and what have you. And so, Luke gives them some good kicks. Now, do you think that Luke's fighting abilities is up to par with where he's at this time? Because it's like I said, this is like 8 months after the Battle of Yavin. What do you think, Stig?
If the Force wasn't a thing, I would have bet on Tank.
Yeah.
Because they probably, on a basic level, know how the other person fights, because they've grown up together. They probably fought before. But Tank has had soldier training after that.
Yeah.
And he's also gotten up through the ranks. He's actually a lieutenant at this point, which is it's not done overnight. So
okay.
Yeah, my money would have been on Tank, actually, in a straight up fight.
Yeah. But again, they know each other from the past and stuff like that. So, and then we have Leia laying here. Luke is hurting from the blows he received. And then Tank picks him up. He goes, "I'll kill you, Luke." And he goes, "I swear I will kill you." And Leia's laying here, and you could see explosions going on and all this stuff. And you could see where the blaster went, the wound is on her chest. And then he goes, "Then do it." He tells that to Tank. "Then do it. And then just get her to a medical bay." And then he goes on to say, "You win, okay? I'll go with you. I'll do it. You've beaten the rebellion's hero. You've done your duty. I don't care anymore. I just want her to live." And then now Tank is thinking, "I had a dream last night, Luke. You were in it. We were kids again, back on Tatooine. You, me, a few of the old gang, and we were playing war, and I killed you." So that was the beginning of this comic series with the introduction of Luke, Tank and stuff. So this is going back to that. And you could see, go ahead.
Also, you have a super chat.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
It's from that bastard who likes Rogue One.
You missed it. I flipped him off.
You did?
Yes, it was on Dark Council for Demogeni's birthday. Yeah, with that topic came up and stuff.
You should have gone like, "Blow out this candle, bitch."
Yes. Well, that wasn't towards Demogeni, it was towards Abunas. It was funny.
Oh.
So I flipped off Abunas because we're talking about a little bit about Rogue One. So I flipped him off. Okay, Abunas, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel as well. Sending love your way. Finally in the chat, enjoying what I can. Happy to see you and Stig making EU great again. Continue being the EU elitists that we know and love. Long live Lucas' legacy. Yep, long live Lucas's legacy.
Yeah. Oh, what? It's not necessarily that we're all about the EU. At least not in my case. I'm more about the Lucas era Star Wars, which
Mhm.
the EU is just a part of that. It's for me, it's the 6 movies, and then
Mhm.
the EU is the optional goodies around that if you're extra interested,
Right. Hmm. It's all
and
about George Lucas's era of Star Wars for me and stuff.
yeah.
But I will probably wear that EU elitist tag now because,
Oh
why
yeah,
not?
now I'm doing it for spite.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like people want to talk shit. Okay, then I'll wear it. I'll wear that badge. It takes away the meaning from you now because I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't see it as bad anymore. So it takes away that little bit of like spite and ammo or whatever against
The
me.
fun thing is the people that call us the EU elitists are the same people that say, "Oh yeah, we need to start gatekeeping," and
Hmm.
isn't that
Yeah.
elitist?
Yeah, exactly. And Soul Assassin says flicking people off, calling people bastards, are bastards. The Rogue One debates are getting heated. Laugh out loud.
Yep.
That was funny. It was just like an opportunity I took. I love to joke around and stuff like that. That's just
Oh
how I
yeah.
am. So
I like
and
I like poking at Albinos, and he'll poke back too. So
yeah,
it's
poking the bear.
perfectly
Right?
fine. Good friends for years.
Yeah, exactly. Poking the bear. So
Yep.
and then so we get his verbiage again from when we first seen him and knew who he was to Luke. And so that's being revisited right there. And then so they receive a big old hit right there. And so they're taking a lot of heat right now.
It
And
says boom on the outside and croom on the inside.
yeah, boom,
Very,
crew.
very odd.
I don't know. And then so they get they get, you could see them, their bodies, everything's like being affected by the blast. It looks like they're being sucked through now because they're open to space.
No, I think it's just crumbling, they're falling,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Leia's just still knocked out, lazy bitch.
She hasn't done nothing in this, huh?
No.
Nothing. And then so they're feeling the impact here, and he grabs Jorn. Jorn has, or not Jorn. Oh yeah, her name is
Tank.
no, he's not Jorn. Tank, yeah. And then he has Leia, and Luke, of course, is holding on to them and holding on to the side. There's a lot of shit going on. They receive that big old blast through the ship, all of that, and very nice work here, really. And then so now we have outside, and now we have out there in space again, the battle going on here. And then I believe this is Wedge. We're covering for you as best as we can, Rebel One, but we can't for much longer. It's now or never time. Or it's now or never. Yeah, or never time. Blast it. Is there no one on the bridge who can jump the ship to hyperspace? So they're feeling frustrated because Home One did not jump yet, and they're receiving a lot of impact already, a lot of impact. And then so we have who is that? No one at all. So basically that's Wedge saying no one at all. And so this looks like Soul. This looks like Jordan Soul, and he looks like he's jumping down or whatever onto something. And then this is Luke right here. He's all, Tank, let me help you. And so he's holding on to Tank. He wants the hand here. He wants to, lift him up and stuff. And so
he just hoists up Leia instead.
Exactly. And then here we go. So they hoist up Leia here. And he's all, he groans and says, Luke, and he's like, Tank. And then he gives up his life right here.
Oh, but now he can't hold on any longer.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't just let go for the hell of it.
No, what I was thinking is that, because he helped Leia and stuff, and that he can no longer, he just accepts his fate.
Yeah, basically. Leia's to blame.
Leia did it. And there we go. And so Luke, or is that Jordan? Yeah, that's Jordan Soul right here. He's punching in the coordinates here. And we have Leia's face right here, Jordan, and then it turns into, I think her name was Zune or Zool. This officer's last name is, and what are you doing? And then, that's what's going on in his head right now. So we still see the conditioning of the brainwashing going on in Soul's head. And he's punching in the coordinates, and you can't do that. And that's him imagining Luke right here, which is odd. And then, so you're weak. And then we go back to Zune or Zula, whatever her name was. You're pathetic. You cannot rebel. And then we have Vader's face right here. No. And then you can see the
basically fighting his brainwash.
Yeah, he's the programming that's going on. He is like fighting against it. And you could see his tears and all that. And you can see the explosions, and he hits the coordinates. So he basically then dies or goes off in the explosion, which I kind of find odd. If the ship is like exploding and stuff, how in the hell is it going to go into hyperspace?
Well, as long as the hyperdrive is still operational.
True.
Because they still have power, obviously.
True. Yeah, true. There we go. And so, yes, they do. You can see all the fires going on in Home 1 and stuff. They're in hyperspace, all of that.
That's something I kind of always thought was a bit stupid in Star Wars, that, it's burning in space.
Mm-hmm.
On the outside, on the inside, sure. But not on the outside, right?
Yeah, but you could tell that that's where some of the blasts of battle went through. So so that's crazy.
There's still a vacuum.
Mm-hmm. True. And then so now we are back at Vader's fleet. I suggest for your sake that what you're about to say is extremely important, Admiral. And he's like, well, that must be hard. To be next to Vader and all this shit go down.
Vader's like, did you fail? And he's like, no,
that's like a kid, like who gets into the chocolate cake, like a 2 or 3 year old gets his chocolate cake, eats it, don't wipe his face or her face, and then the mother or father comes up, did you eat the cake? No. And it's the chocolates all over the face. Oh my God. And then this goes on and says, our sensors have depicted an escape pod. So there you go. So there's an escape pod that had happened, but I wonder who did that. Or was it fired off just to like trick them? I don't know. But anyways, here we go. So we have Luke back, and they're now in the med bay here. And then he's like thinking, so many casualties. Some of them hurt us deeply. And then, thankfully, Leia wasn't one of them, but Jorn, poor Jorn's soul. And then he goes, as for Sunburn, no body was found, so perhaps. And so we have Leia in the back of the tank. This is the picture. I'm like,
you know what? The tank stuff when he falls down into the fiery thing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that exactly what happens to Phasma?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's identical almost.
So do you think that he got into that escape pod then?
Can't remember. But
or do you think that was just went ahead and been launched just to kind of divert Vader and them?
I can't remember if he shows up in the comics later.
Yeah, we'll find out here. And then, so here's Leia. And as I pointed out, you could see some stuff here on her. Her back to suit is revealing in some ways. So I'll let you guys just figure that one out. And then, so Luke goes on to say, I feel different. I'm not sure why exactly, but somehow home suddenly feels very far away. Yes, the fleet's been scattered. We're picking up a few signals, but not much of it's gone. It's gone, possibly for good. And then the Empire's shown it can hurt us, made us suspicious of our own. Well, that's kind of like you guys had your own failings because you guys trusted too much. And then he goes on to say, but the past can't conquer us. We're alive, we're regrouping, and we're moving forward. So there we go. Leia's receiving her healing and what's going on. Back to Works Wonders. And then, so that's the end of that. So there you go. That's the end of that story. So, and then Soul Assassin says, Leia's been hitting the gym.
Yep. All of them has. And it's like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then Frankie says, I wish Phasma had been actually good. There was a lot of possibilities. There was a lot of potential.
Oh yeah, hell of a lot of potential.
That could have yeah, for the story to be great, but it turned out to be the Last Jedi and
Yeah,
beyond.
basically, she got tossed in the trash can in
Hmm.
episode 7, and then in episode 8, she got beaten by the janitor,
Hmm.
and she's supposed to be an elite warrior.
Right. And she
Like,
should know like his training and stuff because he is her subordinate, right?
yeah, he's a basic stormtrooper,
Mm-hmm.
and another stormtrooper beats the shit out of him in
Mm-hmm.
episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
So what the heck? Phasma should have beaten the crap out of him.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. And then we have Marshall Lewis that comes in. He's like walks in, sits down, watching. Thank you so much for joining us. We actually are starting to wrap this comic up here and wrapping and chatting with everybody now and getting ready to close out the show. So, but thank you. Stay while you can with us. If there's any questions, anybody, as always, if there's any questions or any insight or anything you want to share with us, share in the comments here. We'll address them, have a conversation over them, all of that. And
Yeah,
then
I've been meaning to ask, since we're getting close to the end of the Rebellion comics, right?
mm-hmm.
Should we do the old Marvel ones after that, or?
I know that's a good question. Do you want to go more into the Empire, because the Empire and the Rebellion comics are basically the same timeline but different stories, like different stories in the timeline here.
Yeah, but there's like volume 8 is coming out soon, so
mm-hmm.
it will take a hell of a long time.
Yeah,
It will take like 2 or 3 years to write. We're going right.
Yeah. Did you want to review the X-Wing comics?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. I just realized we're getting to the end of the Rebellion one, and there's no new Rebellion omnibus being released next year.
Okay, that's right.
But we are getting the final Clone Wars and the Menace revealed,
Mm-hmm.
and we've done all the others from those, so we probably should backtrack a bit and do the new volumes there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But that's still half a year away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All right, we'll discuss this a little bit more here off of the stream too, but stay tuned, you guys, because this is gonna. I love reviewing these and having conversation with Stig and you guys in the chat about these as well. It's fun, and again, we're not over here saying like, oh, everything's perfect, because we did point out some issues that could have.
Oh yeah, no, the EU is not perfect, but
yeah. Exactly, and
at least
then
they tried.
Yeah, exactly. They did their best to keep everything coherent and consistent as much as they could. Soul Assassin says Finn should have been a Jedi. The First Order should have been a small threat after Abeloth problem. Lots of potential lost. Yeah, I mean, they did away with the Imperial Remnant and decided to go elsewhere with the First Order. And
and it's like, why is it the First Order if it follows the Empire, which was the First Order, really?
Right.
So it's technically the Second Order, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's all Palpatine overseeing everything. Basically, that's the conclusion that it's all coming to, because he was hidden, but he was the mastermind behind all of this. Still, so I mean, so it doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot of things that doesn't make sense to me. And yes, look at that, Cadus. So yeah. Darth Cadus. Here we go. And thanks for the review, guy. Yes. And let's see here. Disney equals worst timeline. Okay, if you like it, I don't. So I don't know what you're talking about.
He says it's okay if you like it. He doesn't.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, at first, what? Oh, because it follows up from here to there. All right. Yeah. And there's I'm gonna look to see if it's up on the comic resources where I pull these from. But there's one specific omnibus or collection that came out that's all of Boba Fett stories. It's called Blood Ties, and it's a Legends collections that they're producing here. And but it's all of his stories and stuff. And I think it came out specifically because of the book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, so, and here's the thing. they're releasing the collected story of that one now, but it's also being released in the summer as part of the Empire Omnibus,
Right.
Empire Volume 8. So it's like, yeah, you're trying to cash in because that one's coming out in the summer anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it's about. They're trying to promote and advertise the Book of Boba Fett. But if you get the comic, the Blood Ties comic, little Boba Fett like eccentric comic series, because it's not all just Blood Ties. The series that came from Blood Ties.
It does not fit with Disney Star Wars whatsoever.
No, it's false advertisement because you're not going to get the same Boba Fett.
Nope.
They're just getting the nostalgia. They're just giving you nostalgia to be excited for something that's not even the same character at all. Like at this point, because this is like the timeline is like basically around 910 ABY. You know, what year was it that he got with Centisville? He was early. He was young because he was a young guy. He was like maybe 18 or something like that. Or no. He was 16. So by then he should have had a child.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's been ages since I read the Boba Fett comics, though. A friend of mine had all of them, so I borrowed them. But I seem to remember Blood Ties being damn good, to be honest.
It is. It's really good because you get to see like why Boba is as tough as he is because of some of the trials that his father have even put him through.
Yeah. I probably won't read it until I get the Empire, omnibus.
Yeah.
Next year is going to be fantastic for me, though, in terms of Star Wars, because most of the omnibuses they're releasing are full of comics I've never read.
Yeah.
So I'm getting 5 omnibuses, right? With stuff I've never read, and one of them has the Tales of the Jedi stuff, which I have read, but I haven't read them since the 90s, and I don't remember a damn thing. So that's there's like 20 comics in each, I guess. So that's 100 comics that I've never read, really. So yeah, great.
Yeah,
Gonna
great
be a good
stuff.
Star Wars here.
It is.
And there is talk of those Han Solo books that were written for the Hungarian audience back in the EU days. They're getting translated and sold eventually.
Wow. Okay.
Not officially. More like, the Heart of the Jedi style.
Yeah.
But
cool.
yeah, I'm gonna get them.
Awesome.
It's not like I'm buying that much Star Wars anymore,
Yeah, you got the complete collection, right?
Oh yeah, I spent 2 years trying to basically just get all of the novels in paperback, and I got some of the the essentials in the hardcovers, and then I wisely collected all the omnibuses because people are charging an arm and a leg for those, right? Now the ones that are out of print. So
exactly.
I spent a shitload of money actually, but I guess it was worth it. I don't know.
Yeah, and here is the one I was talking about, Blood Ties. It is the Boba Fett collection. However, the coming collections that's coming out with the Empire basically has them in there as well. So you'll be getting it twice if you're doing the collection and collecting these right now. So there you go. I have this one. I do, and it has a lot of his stories in there. And again, like I said, it came out because of the Book of Boba Fett. And Soul Assassin says here, Sentis is a superior character than the sniper chick Disney Fett is hanging with, right?
Yeah. She would have made a tremendous Jan Ors, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, Soul Assassin says they might split Tales of the Jedi into 2. This actually is volume 2 because the first one had the Dawn of the Jedi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember how many Tales of the Jedi stuff there were, but I'll read up what's in the omnibus. You can let me know if it's all of them or if it's going to be split. If if it's something missing. So here's what's in it. It's Tales of the Jedi: The Golden Age of the Sith, which is five comics, and then there's Tales of the Jedi: The Fall of the Sith Empire, which is another 5 comics. And then there's 5 comics called Tales of the Jedi. And then there's 2 comics called The Freedom Nad Uprising. So that's what's in that omnibus. So if there's something missing, let me know, because if there is, that means there's going to be another omnibus.
Yeah. Which one was it? Like the Legacy comics, we know that there's missing ones too. So
Legacy Volume 4 is out on March 15. It has Legacy 1 through 18. And something called Storytellers, Star Wars Tales 19, and material from Star Wars Visionaries. I'm not sure what that means, but there's something. So there's it's basically the second Legacy series, really. 18 comics. I've never read them. Never read these. So
what Legacy? The Legacy 2?
Oh yeah, the main Legacy I've read. The one with Kate Skywalker and all.
But not with Anaya Solo.
Yeah, never read them.
Well, enjoy. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, they didn't really get to expand on exactly how she came about in the Solo timeline, like who was her ancestors other than Han. Of course, obviously it was Han and Leia, but
that was where the next it was going to start with the Sword of Jedi, I think.
Like
they were going to tie. From what I read, they were going to tie the. They were going to go from the Darth Bane trilogy and tie that into Darth Plagueis eventually. Cover that whole timeline.
Yeah.
And they were going to tie the Tales of the Jedi period into the Knights of the Old Republic, because you have a gap there too.
Right.
And then they were going to do the basically the Jedi, the Sword of the Jedi stuff would eventually lead into the Legacy period.
Yeah.
So they were going to fill in the gaps, because if you look at it, they had Nomi Sunrider novels planned from that period. They had the Darth Zana duology that was planned, and then the Sword of the Jedi. So they actually had 7 books with a female protagonist in the works. And Disney scrapped it because we need more women in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Oh my God. I know,
like
it's very
7 novels coming out, and people were people wanted those.
But you know what? If they didn't see it, it didn't happen. So like they're saying, well, we needed women protagonists in the movies, not the books, because they need to see it instead of reading it, because people are that superficial.
Yeah. Well, that is fine, because not everyone reads books. It's you either like books or you don't.
Right.
It's both are perfectly fine, and then you have people that simply like the comics.
Right.
So,
but you still have to have some kind of intellectual honesty, and still say, even though I didn't read them, I understand there was a lot of female characters, female leads in the franchise. Or even I didn't read the comics, but to be honest, there was a lot of amazing female characters. You have to be intellectually honest, and these people aren't. I mean, if you don't want to read the EU, that's fine. If you don't care for the EU, that's fine. But be honest with yourselves and saying, there was female characters and female leads throughout the franchise, in the EU, and even in the movies.
Yeah, it's okay to say that. I get it. There were lots of females in Star Wars, but I don't like books.
And I want to see them on screen, and I want to see more on screen or whatever. Just be honest about it instead of being shady and making it sound like George was a sexist and racist. because that's what they're making. That's what Kennedy, that's what Disney, Lucasfilm made Georgetown out to be. That he was sexist. There was no diversity whatsoever in a franchise that based their world building on diversity of imaginary species and stuff, and humans were just humans, and that was okay because there was diversity in the whole entire galaxy with species and with women stepping up with critical roles and stuff like that, even in the Empire.
Albinaz says he doesn't read enough books like he used to. You know what? I had like a period where I didn't read much either. But what I started doing was I just gave myself some reading goals, like read at least 30 pages before bed or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you do that, it becomes a habit. And if you do it 10 days in a row, that's that's 300 pages, which is you read a book almost.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start wrapping up here now. You guys, thank you in the chat. And, the subscribers, people are coming on for the first time on my stream. Hopefully you subscribed. Your subscription does help the channel. And if you became a member or a member, thank you so much for the continued support, everyone, and to Stig for the continued support on being co-host for Coffee Chat. And Stig, so I know you said in the beginning, and I know that people come and go out of, the live streams to listen and, attend to life and stuff like that. So again, tell us where you're going to be at this coming week, what channels, what's going on with you.
Going to be on Miss Martin Muse's channel tonight, talking about the Wheel of Time books with her and Lady Greymaster. On Saturday, I'm going to be on the same channel talking about the Lord of the Rings books with Teresa and a few others. And we've been doing that for a few months now, and it's great fun. And I'm going to be on Jade Shadow with Maura tomorrow for our top 10 Christmas movie thing, which keep in mind, we're not picking the best Christmas movies. We're just picking our favorites from 10 to 1. We're going to, our favorite will be the last one we mentioned, which is a lot of fun. I think that's it. I don't know if we're doing Coffee Chat next week. Are we?
I don't think so, because I think next week is the holiday, right? It's the 23rd. Is it?
Yeah.
I don't mind doing it because the 23rd is not even Christmas Eve at all, so it's right before. How does your schedule look? We'll probably talk about it behind scenes. So stay tuned, you guys, for announcement for Coffee Chat next Thursday.
Yeah, follow me up as a maybe for that one.
Okay.
Because I can't guarantee anything because I'm heading to my parents' place for Christmas, right? So I don't know if I'm going on the 23rd, then nope.
So Assassin, she's gonna do a live day stream. Oh, we know what we should do then is like review or watch the holiday special. Oh my god, I'll torture every one of you guys. You guys would probably just like stop watching my channel if I did that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
The only good thing in the holiday special is the Boba Fett thing.
Yeah. And then
and that's not even fantastic either, to be honest.
Right. Kitty Bear says that his birthday is the 23rd. Well, happy birthday to you. It's coming up. It must be crazy having your birthday just right before Christmas. I have a cousin who her birthday is on Christmas. So yeah, that's crazy. And the struggle is real with that. And as for me, talking EU tomorrow at 1 p.m. with Tommy, our guinea pig specialist and moderator extraordinaire. So he's, if you don't know who he is, he's like this, a wonderful person that basically is a great moderator as well and is trusted with a lot of channels and stuff. And you will be surprised on his knowledge of Star Wars and stuff. So I'm excited to have him.
Oh, he has a lot. And if you're into Transformers and stuff like that, you will not find a better expert at it. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he knows who designed the leg of the first Optimus Prime action figure. It's that
Mhm.
deep, you know.
Yeah.
It's yeah, impressive, incredibly impressive.
Right. Impressive. Most impressive. And then HollowNet Journal is a new show coming to the channel. It's once a month, the last Wednesday of every month. And the 29th will be the very first show introduction. And this will be talking about past news and events and lore that has came out in Star Wars pre-Disney. And so this is going to be fun. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a long show. I try to keep my shows like 2 hours or under. And so you'll get like a blast from the past, what has happened in the month in Star Wars for whatever year I decide to pick. And we'll go over all the dynamics and just really, I guess you could say, hit the nostalgic buttons on the creation of Star Wars and stuff like that and everything that has happened. And I'm excited for that. It's like, sharing news from the past, any development from the past, and talk about the lore and how it came about, how a character may have came about, or what have you. So I look forward to that as well. So you guys stay tuned for that. And as for, whoopsie, there we go. It's not gonna let me do that. Okay, so as for this one right here, I will announce when we're going to do a review on Receipt or Deceived here. I'm not fully through the book yet. Yeah, I haven't played the games, so the lore when it pertains to Old Republic and the novels and stuff is very slow for me, but I am enjoying it somewhat, so I can't wait to give my review on this. I am privy to the lore, but not to the in-depth story of it, so I'm excited to share my review on that, and everybody else who wants is going to be on there. And so look forward to that with the announcement. It's been kind of slow with getting literature review out and scheduled because of circumstances like death in the family and the holidays coming up and stuff. Life happens, right? Life happens. All right. So I think we're coming to a conclusion here. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Stig. You guys have a great rest of the week and weekend, and stay tuned for any lore videos that are coming out, in even EU clips. Those has been fun producing and giving to you guys to get you guys back into the books and stuff, and critical scenes and fun scenes that happens in those novels as well. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you.